What's up everybody, Всем привет! Welcome back to another episode of the Czar Experience. Today I'm going to be reviewing Glossika. Cue the intro, let's get into today's video. So what is Glossika, you're probably wondering. As I mentioned before, it's a little bit similar to VocaBooster in terms of its style. So basically you have a series of sentences that are chosen to help you in terms of vocabulary, and you basically read and you listen to a native speaker pronounce those sentences, then you repeat this, and through a process of osmosis you get to learn vocabulary that's, it's going to be spaced repetition because the same vocabulary is going to come up at critical points for you as you learn it. Now they have a subscription system now that you can access this amazing array of languages. I don't know how many languages they have because they just keep adding to them, but there's like so many. There's like over 100 there, and I only actually tested out fully in Russian. They did give me access to Catalan and Swedish, but in the end I didn't end up learning those languages to any great extent. So I only really tested it for Russian, which of course is really important for where I actually am, because obviously, as you can see behind me, there's the statue of Richelieu in the center of Odessa. I'm actually sitting on the Potemkin steps. So let me get into the pros and cons for you about Glossika and how I found it when I was learning Russian. So, what are the pros and cons of using Glossika? Now, as I said, it also works in the same principle as another software program that I'm using more for the beginners, which was when I learned my first 500 words in Ukrainian earlier this year, which is VocaBooster. Basically got bilingual sentences and text that have carefully chosen words that are going to come up in different intervals depending on how difficult or how useful they should be for you. That's the principle behind it, and it allows you to absorb the vocabulary and a lot of the syntax and grammar based on just reading and input, so you actually don't have to do that much work. This is one thing I like about it, is that it's intuitive. Now, another thing to think about is that it has actually got good intonation and natural pace. So even if the audio at times is a little bit fast, the fact that you have the text in front of you allows you to follow it along. And of course, you can always repeat it a second time. So I really find that's useful to hear that natural pace and intonation, because in a lot of courses, it's a little bit unnatural to say things too slow. But in this, it's really like you're going to hear in real life, like here in Odessa, which was one of the reasons I learned Russian, is to be able to speak it in this city. Another advantage, of course, is time utilization, because this is something you can just flick on for a few minutes when you have some dead time. That's always great to be able to use your time that you have. Another huge advantage of this one is just simply the number of languages. Like, there's so many. Like, it's crazy how many languages they have there. It's just like anything. I think like you're never going to run out. If you're a big language enthusiast, then this is an amazing resource to use. So onto the weaknesses. The platform doesn't have voice recognition, so you can't actually compare your pronunciation to that of a native speaker. That's a little bit of a disadvantage. There are other platforms that compensate for that, that will do that for you. I'll link it in the description below, my review of, say, SpeechLink, because that actually does this. Also, Glossika doesn't, I know what they're doing is substituting like the words. So for example, maybe you see a sentence and it's like, then 5 minutes later you see a similar one, but it's just changed maybe the verb or maybe changed the noun, so you're substituting in and out. That is why intuitively you're able to understand and learn new vocabulary. But at the end of the day, there's no real explanation about what's going on. So, you know, you're gonna have to do a little bit of Googling. You know, you're gonna notice a trend, and that's what I always do. I go to Google and say, hey, there's something fishy there, there's something that's going on. So that's something to bear in mind, that you're gonna have to do extra work outside, because that's not integrated into the platform, unfortunately. And like a lot of these language platforms, language learning platforms, it's not culturally specific. It's kind of they copy the same structures more or less across all the languages, and then some languages you just need to learn stuff about the country. Like here I am in Ukraine, and if you were learning Ukrainian, yeah, it'd be nice to have the stuff relative to this country, because this is why I'm learning it. It's of course to be here, in particular in the vocabulary I'm going to hear. It's going to be different to say I went to China or France or Italy, so that's something to bear in mind. But all of these, I haven't seen really too many programs that ever deal with culture specific stuff, unfortunately, because that means that they have to go and do a new course. It's just a lot quicker for them to do it if they copy it and keep it standard across all the languages, and they have so many on this platform. Yes, that's the reason, but it's still a great resource in spite of these negative points. Just bear them in mind. That's what I say. So as I was saying, I originally reviewed Glossika for Russian. At the time I had actually spoken it a little bit. I wasn't a beginner, I was like intermediate, and I found Glossika perfect for that level. Now I've gone back and looked at it a second time and actually used it for Belarusian. I started a Belarusian project in Minsk in June this year, and I found it really good actually for beginners as well. Bear in mind that I do understand a lot of Belarusian from also having learned Ukrainian and Russian, of course, so that helps me a bit. So I'm not really sure it's for an complete beginner, but definitely like if you have a little bit of experience with language, then I can definitely say it also now works. You can actually subscribe, there's a subscription model, and you get access to all these languages. And like, where else are you going to be able to learn Belarusian online? It's really, really rare. So they have this amazing array of languages for you to choose from there. So I found it really, really surprising and great that it's actually also good for, say, a high beginner as well as those at intermediate now. And then once you paid for your subscription, you can choose language after language. Really, really great, the changes they've made. About Belarusian, going to be going back to Minsk to finish up on this Belarusian project. Unfortunately, the weather was really bad when I went for the 10 days to learn Belarusian. I had 3 hours of class per day, but I'm going to be going back there very soon. See, the weather is amazing. I'm sitting here on my balcony in Odessa, just off the main street, which is over there at the Robostavskaya, and it's October already, and this is the weather we have. Absolutely stunning. Hopefully this time I'll be looking in Minsk, and I get to actually film outside because it rained for the entire 10 days that I was there. That's coming up very soon. Planning to spend most of November in Minsk. Going to be shooting the travel vlog from there. Also lots of language related and travel pertinent advice for you guys. Looking really forward to giving you a little bit of a taste what it's like to go to Minsk, the capital of Belarus. So, big question, the answer, do I actually recommend that you buy Glossika? Well, I think it really depends on whether you are a beginner or if you're intermediate or if you're advanced, because this is not really a platform for very beginners. Like if you don't speak a related language, like I tried it out in Swedish, I said for a little bit before I did this review in Russian. And what I found with Swedish is I didn't speak really any similar languages. I know German's a little bit similar, but I really found it hard to understand everything because of that. Whilst with Catalan, I do speak Spanish and French. That was actually a lot easier, and I think that's really the key. You need to have at least the bases in the language or speak a related language. Like for Russian, if you spoke another Slavic language like maybe Serbian, Croatian, or Ukrainian, of course, you'll probably be fine with using Glossika straight off. But if you are learning a completely new language and you don't speak a related one, it's going to be tricky. So anyways, I have it linked below in the description. Go check it out. They do obviously have a membership, as I said, so you get access to all these languages. So I just think it's pretty good. I found it really useful for my Russian because my Russian was already at a beginner's level, like a high beginner's. So I really got a lot of value out of it.
Сегодня среда.
Сегодня среда.
Я хорошо себя чувствую.
Я добре себе відчуваю.
So that is the end of my review of Glossika. If you've used it, then drop us a message below in the comments section. Always great to get your comments. It's not just about my opinion always. If you have your own experience, then please let everybody know. We're creating this great community of people down in the comments section. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and strike the like button. And of course, as usual, if you're not a subscriber, then I guess you're gonna miss out. But yes, there is that red subscribe button, so give it a squeeze and become a subscriber. And of course, you need to whack that notification bell, just hit it, because otherwise you don't get notified of new uploads here on YouTube. Of course, so much great stuff coming in the next few weeks, especially from here in Odessa in Ukraine. Some of the other videos have kind of gone viral in the last few weeks, like 5 reasons never to date a Ukrainian, and also its sequel, 5 more reasons never to date a Ukrainian, and of course my Odessa girls, what do they think of foreign guys, summer 2018 version. We have 2 or 3 more videos already that we're going to film that are going to really be interesting for you, as in addition to these review videos and stuff to help you with language if you come here to Ukraine. So with that said, it is do pobачення, do svidaniu. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.